everybody. Welcome to the Mustang Coaches Show. I'm your host, voice of the Broncos, Kerry Shuck, alongside head coach of the Mustang Broncos, Lee Blankenship. Coach, how are you?
Great, man. Great to be back with you this week.
I know. We had a quick vacation, came back, and there was a little technical difficulty last week with the show, but we want to go ahead and recap the Yukon game that was here, our first home game. Big win against Yukon, coming off a loss last year.
Yeah.
And just that game, you guys controlled the tempo and the game from the onset. I mean, talk about that game a little bit.
Well, just really proud of our kids, man. Our kids just played so hard. There's so many things. This is my first experience in a Mustang Yukon game, and I think we had 4 pep rallies that week. Just so many things that are distractions throughout the course of the week, and it's an awesome atmosphere and it's an awesome week. But I was really proud of our kids for just remembering, hey, the football game is the culmination of all those things and what we're here to do. And man, they played so well, played so hard. They were level-headed the whole game and just did a great job of executing our game plan. So I was fired up for our players.
Up in the booth, we were just everything seemed to work, especially defensively. And I thought the defense was going to be really good coming into this year. But the offensive line and the running just controlled clock and was just so dominant up front.
Offensive line had a big game. The Yukon week, and then again last week when we played Edmond Santa Fe. Those guys have worked so hard and are really coming together as a unit. Coach McDaniel does such a great job, and Coach Lynn Hetner, our offensive line coaches, do such a good job with those guys and have them ready to play. And we can put them in the situation, but at the end of the day, the kids are the ones that go out and make the plays and win those ball games. So I was really excited for that group for sure.
Well, growing up where we did, Southeast Oklahoma, Spiro-Poto was always a big rivalry. But when I see Mustang Yukon, it is a different level. Just like you said, 4 pep rallies, the way the crowds come into it and everything. So that atmosphere is just kind of crazy to see.
Listen, there are not a lot of high school football games across the country with the type of atmosphere that we had on that Friday night. It's really a special thing for our kids to have an opportunity to participate in something that is that big. It's really a special game. It was awesome to be a part of.
It was, especially just being there to announce everything. And we've got some play of the game, Coach.
Yeah. So what was so cool about the play of the game is it was probably one of our worst defensive plays of the night, except for you're going to see on the backside pursuit. That's Wesley Haddix, the backside corner, running just an unbelievable effort by him to prevent that touchdown. Mm-hmm. We always tell our kids, don't let a bad play define you. Don't let a mistake define you. It's what you do after that mistake that's going to determine your character. So you're going to see this is actually 4th down. The same young man that had the great pursuit at the end of maybe the worst play, that it became the best play for us because he ran that down. We got the stop, and then we held him out for 4 downs in a row and got the ball back. And then what's going to happen is the very next play on offense, we're going to hand the ball to Kari Brown, who's going to take it 99 yards. So I just think it's so cool that again, what could have been the defensive play that we gave up the most yardage on was actually the turning point of the game for us. And that just goes back to playing with great attitude, playing with great effort, not letting one mistake define you, but what you do right after that mistake. That's our message to our kids every year. That's part of a young man's character, and our kids really showed a lot of character that night. So was really excited for them on that.
And seeing that play, I can't think of the Yukon running back's name, but as fast as he is, we were told up in the booth, if he gets past you, he's gone.
Yeah.
And no player on that team, on Mustang's team, let that get in their head. He comes across the field, stops them, and then stops them on 4 straight plays. And then the 99-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the mentality of, just like you said, we got this stop. Okay, they're on the 2-yard line, 1-yard line, but we're going to get 4 more, and then we're going to score.
No doubt. And, again, just not letting one bad thing turn into 3. Our kids just stiffened up right there on the goal line, and what an unbelievable stand by them. And it all started with that Wesley Haddix pursuit down the sideline. A lot of kids would have given up and just throwing the white flag up right there and said, well, he's going to score a touchdown, and our kids didn't. And that excites me more about our players than anything, man. Just their willingness to continue to stay in the game and to continue to play hard. So pretty awesome deal, yeah.
That's the one good thing about it is, like, some kids may not be the most talented, the fastest, but as long as you have effort, you're always in every game.
No doubt. That's something that we preach to our kids every week. It's attitude and effort. That's what we can control, and we're gonna try to keep our focus on the things that we can control. And they really showed that. And the last couple of weeks have been it's almost been storybook. We've had perfect examples of what playing the next play, playing with great attitude, great effort, what it can do for you if you just continue to have that mindset. We've come from behind, which I know we're going to talk about here in a little bit with Edmond Santa Fe, and just in moments, have we had bad plays as a team? Of course, we've had several bad moments where players have made mistakes, or we've dropped a pass, or we've missed a tackle, or we've thrown it to the wrong guy, or we've missed a block. But that doesn't have to define the game, and that goes back into the character leaders stuff that we preach every single day to our kids, and it's really fun to see them starting to catch a hold of that.
We talked about this before. Coaching kind of has to be a pull your hair out kind of moment, because especially in football, you have 11 guys on the field and everybody has to do the same thing. I mean, you have to do your job here to have this guy do his job and then to complete a play. And if there are little mishaps, it could be a loss, or anything can be bad. But whenever you see that effort and after a mistake to come back and try to make it perfect.
No question. We call it doing your 1/11th. So there's 11 players on the football field. Every one of those guys has one job to do. And we preach that to our kids. Do your 1/11th. Do your job. Don't try to do somebody else's job. You can't do too much. Focus on having great attitude, great effort, doing your job. Trust your teammate to do his, and good things are going to happen. So we're starting to see that. It's a lot of fun.
Well, and we're going to go into Edmond Santa Fe, but congratulations on the big win at home against Yukon. I know the fans, everybody, just super excited. I know the coaching staff and players too. But
it's probably more relieved by the coaching staff. But we are excited. It was great.
Got the first one out, 38-0, and then you go into week 2 against Edmond Santa Fe, a high octane team, really good team, well coached.
Very well coached.
They come in here. I had to listen to the game on the radio because I was on vacation, and I was just kind of stressed out. They score pretty quick off to start out 7-0, but then you guys just buckle down. Nobody hangs their hat. They just get in and score and tie it up.
Play the next play. It goes back to attitude and effort, with our kids. So they came out and scored early. I think our kids are really just getting used to the pace of the game. It was a completely different look than we saw the week before in terms of offensive scheme. Even their defensive scheme was a lot different. And then, Edmond Santa Fe had some phenomenal athletes all over the field. So I think that first drive, our kids were just kind of getting used to what was in front of them. And then, after that, our defense really buckled down and played well the entire game. Offense got rolling a little bit, and we're able to go into the halftime with a lead, and that sometimes going into halftime with a lead is almost like a false sense of security. We knew going in, and we preached to our kids, it is going to be a dogfight in the second half. They're going to make some plays, but we're going to make some plays. So just keep playing hard, and again, stressing that great attitude, great effort all night long. What an exciting finish! I'll tell you what. I actually, in our freshman leadership class this morning, I spoke to our freshman football kids about this series that I'm going to talk about right now. But defense stiffened up. We thought we held them to a field goal. Our nose guard got blocked over into their center. We got a penalty for roughing the snapper, so it gave them a first down, and they ended up scoring on that drive. But after the penalty, and with them scoring and going ahead of us with just under 2.5 minutes left to go in the game, our kids could have hung their heads. We could have focused on the call from the official, and there were a lot of areas that we could have placed blame, or we could have complained, or we could have decided that it just wasn't our night. And our kids, rather than do that, they just focused on what we can control, man, and that was having a great attitude, giving great effort on the next series, and our offense goes down, scores quickly to go back up, and then our defense did the rest. So just another perfect example of what playing with great attitude and giving great effort, controlling what we can control in every situation does for our football program. And I was really proud of our guys again. Yeah,
it must really make you pleased as a coach to see in such an early part of the season the maturation of your kids, to think we've had this lead, almost the whole game, and now we've lost it. And there was a weird penalty call.
Sure.
And like you'd said, but it's just kind of like, okay, that plays out. We can still win. We can still score. It must really make you guys feel good as a coaching staff to see that they didn't hang their hats.
Yeah, without question. Just the tenacity of our kids, the refusal to quit or to feel sorry for themselves. There's a toughness in that. There's a mental toughness to that, and I'm ecstatic, honestly, as the head coach, just to see our kids playing with that type of mental toughness on Friday night. I really feel like our kids believe right now, which is a special thing, especially this early in the season with a new coaching staff. So yeah, good things are happening, and hopefully still on the horizon as well.
Oh, I definitely think so too. And I know it's early in the season, but these are moments where, as you get closer to the end, where you're looking at playoffs or maybe being in the playoffs, so you can say, like, look, guys, this is how we were week 2. Remember, we were in the same situation, or kind of the situation with Yukon. We're up big, but we can't let these things get into our heads.
Absolutely. And, our goal from week to week is just get a little bit better. We want to get 10% better every week. Tell our players, if we can get 10% better every week when we're in the first round of the playoffs, we're going to be 100% better than we were the night we played Yukon. So that's our goal. It's really not about Edmond Santa Fe. They were a great team, really well coached. They did some good things, but it's more about just us and how can we be the best version of us from night to night and from day to day. And our kids are really, really doing a good job of buying into that philosophy right now.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the best plays from the game. Defensively, I think you guys are really clicking defensively. You kind of controlled games defensively. In 6A football, to only give up 21 points to Edmond Santa Fe and then keeping a team blank, I mean, you guys are really doing some different things. Talk about your defense for real quick.
Well, Coach Dollar and his staff, first of all, got to give them a lot of credit for the game plans, the just that work ethic that those guys have. There's not a lot of nights throughout the course of the week that you'll drive past a football stadium and Coach Dollar and those guys' trucks not be parked outside. Man, they do such a good job of getting our kids in the right positions. But then, listen, as coaches, all we can do is get our kids in the right place. Yeah. From that point forward, our kids have to do their assignment, to make their reads, to get lined up, and you've got to give the majority of the credit to our kids, man. Our players have just played so well. They've trusted the game plan. They've done their 1/11th on that side of the ball. Been great tacklers. One of the things that Coach Dollar, it's not a real fancy mantra or anything like that, but he says hit and the kids say hard, and that's what we believe in. I mean, football doesn't have to be that complicated. We want to hit and we want to hit hard, and they've really lived up to that mantra throughout the first 2 games. Anyways, our kids will come up and hit you, and they'll hit you hard, and they've shown that. So a lot of credit to our kids and our coaching staff on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and especially like you said, with the coaches and the kids doing it, they had a completely 180 from going from a flex bone offense to this. I mean, and the fact that they had just a week to do it. I mean, that shows a lot for the players and coaches.
Our whole defense was at the football field this morning at 6:30 a.m. Coach Dollar's wife, Stephanie, made breakfast for them, and they do that every Monday, and just to get us a head start with our film preparation, our scouting reports. So our players already know the game plan going into the Westmoore game this week. They were given it at 6:30 this morning, and they watched about 2 hours of film. So that even just that extra 8 hours of preparation, rather than hearing it this afternoon at our first practice, just to allow them to continue to prepare. That's the commitment that our coaching staff has for our kids, and that's also a commitment that our kids have for our community and our school to be willing to do things that others aren't, so that we can accomplish things that others can't. We talk to our kids all the time. We want to give up what we like so that we can have what we want most, or what we love. We want to give up what we want now for what we want most. What most of those guys probably wanted this morning was a little bit more sleep, but what they want most is another win on Friday night, and I'm so proud of our kids just for that buy. And even that is just another example of how our kids are believing and buying into the type of football program that we're trying to come and establish here.
Man, that's amazing, because when I was in high school, tried to get me up at 6:30. It ain't going to happen. But let's talk about some of the outstanding athletes from the game. I do want to go back to Yukon real quick, because I know it's going to trail into this. Liam Kravonik on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I said his name like 400 times in the Yukon game, and then I heard it a bunch.
Liam is phenomenal. I've never had a kid with an ACT score that high that could hit that hard and was such a good football player. Liam, it's like Liam's a step ahead of of our opponents. He understands what they're trying to do. He's a student of the game. He's also a very instinctual type of player. He has great football instincts, and when you combine his intelligence with that, and then his athletic ability and his physicality, that you're going to hear Liam Kravonic's name a lot throughout the course of the year when listening to the radio or watching the game on TV. He does a phenomenal job. Yeah, great player for us.
And some other names. Judson Rowland was one I wanted to throw out. And then I want to get offensively, just Harvey Phillips. You have a lot of running backs, quarterbacks. Everybody is just really coming together. And
forgive the pun, but we've got a stable full of backs, and we really do with Harvey. And I've got to mention Judson as well on defense. I mean, Judson is one of our top leaders on our entire team. Not to mention our defense. He does such a great job. Just his leadership, the character that he shows from week to week in practice, and then having that big old strong body right there in the middle of the field is really an advantage for us. Harvey Phillips on the offensive side had a phenomenal game against Yukon. He rushed for over 200 yards. That really opened up the following week against Santa Fe, our passing game. Hayden Conrad threw for over 240 yards last week and just had an incredible game. Tristan Plumley at receiver had a great game on Friday night. So, I mean, our kids, and that's what's exciting about our program. From week to week, when you look and go, who are the top players, there's 10 of them. I mean, there are a lot of guys that are making plays and stepping up. And what's pretty cool about it, the week before, I think Conrad threw for 45 yards, or he didn't. We didn't even break 100. I think we threw the ball 7 or 8 times, and then this week we threw it about 19 or 20 times for over 240 yards. So from week to week, just because it's not your week one, we were running the football that week and having a lot of success. It was Harvey's night, and our kids just, again, great attitude, great effort, play the next play, prepare the next week, and you never know whose night it's going to be this week when we play Westmoore.
And it's such a good problem to have, I guess, as a coach, when you only throw a few times against Yukon, that when Santa Fe comes in, like, okay, they're a running team, they don't really want to pass the ball around, and all of a sudden you go for 200-something yards, game-winning pass, and I even thought on the Yukon game that Hayden was crisp with his throws, just a couple of drop balls.
No doubt.
And I just thought, well, he's really getting clicked with the wide receivers.
Hayden has played really, really well in both of our games. Even though the Yukon week statistically, nothing was just jumping off of the page, he still threw the ball well. He orchestrated our offense the way he needed to, and I knew that against Santa Fe he had a chance to have a big time night, and he did. Man, he's playing at a really high level right now.
Well, as well as we played the last couple of weeks, let's talk about some of the struggles that you're seeing, what you need to work on going into the game against Westmoore.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love to sing our kids' praises, and and I want to bring that energy and excitement and optimism to our program. There are always things that we can get better at. This week when we play Westmoore, they do a great job in their coaching staff of putting their kids in good situations and good positions as well. They bring they're going to bring pressure, and they're going to do it in unique ways. So that, I mean, it is not uncommon to see them bring those safeties down and blitz a safety, blitz a corner. They like to stunt and twist with their with their defensive line. So our offensive linemen are going to have to be really, really really sound this week, have great eyes and discipline in their technique and with their eyes. So that's something that we can always continue to get better at. We got to take care of the football on the offensive side. We've had in the last 2 weeks, we put the ball on the ground a couple of times, which is something, fortunately, we haven't lost as many as our opponents have. It helps when you got that dollar defense over there taking care and getting takeaways for us. But we've got to do better with our ball security. And then just when the ball's in the air, it's our ball, whether that's on offense or defense. We've got to have that mentality, eliminate the drops at the receiver position. Those are just a few of the many things that we can get better at and have stressed over the last couple of weeks. And we saw some improvement from week 1 to week 2, and hopefully we see even more this week. So again, just get 10% better every week, get a little bit better, and at the end of the season we'll be a lot better than we are right now.
All right, Coach. Well, we're going to go ahead and take our first break, come back and talk a little bit more about Westmoore, some athletes to watch, and just more preview of the game. We'll see you after the break.
Hey, 6th to 12th graders. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're into. If you're looking for a place to connect, if you're looking for answers, If you're in need of some encouragement or just looking for a friend, come on over and join us at First Baptist Mustang on Wednesdays at 6:30. We're a place for you.
Get low prices every day at Spickless Chevrolet. If you wanna rock a Chevy, got 500 new and used, like Camaro, Silverado, Chevy, Malibu, and Cruise. Bad credit, you can still buy. 50 lenders standing by. Hit up that Spickless Chevy app and search right from your phone, or head to Northwest Expressway and County Line Road. Get low prices every day at Spickless Chevrolet. SpicklessChevrolet.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mustang Coaches Show. Kerry Shuck alongside head coach of the Mustang Broncos, Lee Blankenship. Coach, Westmoore going on the road the first time, had 2 games at home, which as a coach that must be pretty good to know that you've got the home atmosphere that you can work on some things, but now you go on the road.
We went on the road for both of our first scrimmages, so I've got all the bus requests and all of that, all the logistics. I think after the first scrimmage, we made it to the field, and I looked at one of my assistant coaches and I said, Coach, I got everybody here. The buses are in the parking lot. We've got Gatorade and water. We're going to have the boys fed afterwards. I'm just relieved, and now I can actually get to coach some football. So we got all of the logistical things out of the way. It's a big operation to take, we're talking about 175 bodies and people to another location, and how do you get them there, and how do you get them fed, and how do you get them back, and how do you take roll, and there's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts in a school and in a football program this big. It's really cool to see it all work together. It's really stressful putting it all together, but I got the learning curve out of the way in those first scrimmages. We're really excited to head over to Westmoore on Friday night. Really expecting a great following from our community. Our crowds have been so great. Our attendance has been awesome in both of our first couple of weeks or a couple of games. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the Mustang faithful travel.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I've only got 2 people in my family, and I think I lost my wife on the trip. But so I don't know how you do it with all those kids. But as you go into Westmoore, 2 big wins. This is actually the Class 6A1 game of the week.
Yeah.
The top 10 games, number 1. Does that add any kind of pressure to the team? You don't really even think about it or anything like that. It's just, hey, we're going to go play a road game.
Honestly, this sounds like coach talk, but this is really what we believe. It's not about them at all. It's all about us. It's how we prepare. It's how we execute. It's about our attitude and effort. We really try to not focus on anything but what we can control, and that's attitude and effort. We're going to try to win this day, today, and then win again tomorrow, and win again on Wednesday, and hopefully Friday night will take care of itself. But you know what? Westmoore does a great job. They've had some good wins, man. They had a big win over Moore High School, which is a top 10 team in the state. Moore has a phenomenal quarterback, and Westmoore really did a good job of trying to neutralize him, putting some points on the board. That was their rivalry game, kind of their equivalent to Mustang Yukon in their week 1, and they had a big win. Week 2, they played Southmoore, which is also another rival. You're talking about the Moore Wars is what is what I've been told that they call that. So to go back to back and beat 2 of your the biggest rivals on your schedule, and they're Moore City champs, which is a big deal for them. So they're coming in with a lot of confidence as well. 2-0, great wins. They're a very athletic football program. They're a well-coached team. It should be a good ball game on Friday night. Number 1 game I think the Oklahoman said it's the top game to watch in the state. That's great. Fortunately for us, we'll be there and get to watch it. So
You'll have the best seats.
We have great seats to watch that great game. Yes, absolutely.
Well, some of the athletes to watch, I don't want you to get into the game plan. Obviously, you don't want to do that. But as you get into this game, defensively, who are you looking at to really shine, and offensively, what are you looking at?
So I feel like that they have one of the top quarterbacks in the state, for sure on the west side of the state. He does such a great job of throwing the football. They're going to be a dual threat type of offense. They're skill players on the offensive side of the ball. Man, we've got to really work hard and be able to just wrap those guys up, be disciplined, break our feet down, and not get juked and tackle those guys. So hopefully we can put a little bit of pressure on that quarterback and be able to defend in the back end long enough for us to get back there to him. But he can definitely beat you with his arm. On their defense, when we're on the offensive side of the ball, it's honestly just about our quarterbacks, receivers, and offensive linemen being disciplined with our eyes. They're going to give us an odd stack, which is a 3-3 type of defense. It's a different look than we see most weeks. They do some unique things with their safeties and how they roll to different coverages, how they in their blitz packages, and how much they twist and stunt on their defensive line. So we just got to be disciplined and not let that different look mess with our eyes too much. So that's something that's important for us, just offensively doing what we do, trying to play fast, trying to play physical football, and being disciplined with our eyes.
All right. Well, as we get into the week, Wednesday, Big Coach's Show at Mazzio's. Everything from what I've heard from everybody that's got to go to the show and everything, really fun atmosphere, getting everybody out there. Can talk about that.
Yeah, kind of a cool new tradition that we have started this year. So Mazzio's Pizza, 6 p.m. On Wednesday night here in Mustang. We do a radio show. We partner with Hank FM, which is really cool, and it's a 30-minute show. But we invite all of our community out to come, and obviously our players' parents are there. It really is a neat little new tradition with a really family-like atmosphere. It's fun to see people coming and talking about football and listening to the show and eating at the buffet there at Mazzio's every week. So it's a neat little family type of atmosphere, small town feel, really a cool community type of atmosphere. So we'd love to invite everybody out to come and eat with us on Wednesday night.
And it's just so good to get, like you said, the community together, that they're excited for this group. They're excited for the kids, excited for the coaches, excited for the school. And there's just one more thing that they can be a part of to learn more about everything that's going on with the school.
No question. Yeah, it's a really neat way for everyone to be involved. So again, would love to invite everybody out on Wednesday night and again to the game on Friday as well at Westmoore.
All right, well, Coach, good luck. I think everything seems to be rolling the way you'd want it. I know there's more ups than downs so far this season, so let's just keep that train rolling as we go against Westmoore.
Sounds just fine with me.
All right,
Enjoyed it today.
Sounds good, Coach. Thank you so much. All right, thanks for joining us here on the Mustang Coaches Show. For head coach Lee Blankenship, I'm the voice of the Broncos, Kerry Shuck. Join us next week, and we'll talk about another Broncos victory.